Hey everybody, it's Tessa from Meyer Hatchery, and today we're going to be using our fresh eggs to make some blown out ornaments to give as gifts or to decorate our own trees. Alright, for this project you're going to need eggs, you're going to need something to dump out the insides with, and an instrument that will help you get all of the yolk and the whites out from inside the egg. So there's two methods, I'm going to show you both. One is using this tool, which is a standard traditional tool for making Pysanka eggs. And this will drain it out with a very small hole. The other option is we're going to use toothpicks and we're going to blow the eggs out. Outside of that, for each one of the ornaments that you make, you will need one of these silver tops. And you can buy these at a local craft store, a big box store. This is just the little metal tops that you would have on any ornament. And then if you wanted to add ribbon or tinsel with some glue, that's also something that you can have on hand. So I've got a couple of eggs here that I am going to drill into, and I tried to pick ones, like I've got this one to start with because it's one of my bantam eggs. It's a lot smaller. That means the shell is going to be a little bit thicker than maybe some of my larger eggs, and it might be harder to get through, but I'm going to show you how I do this. So with both this instrument and by just blowing it out by hand, you need to drill a hole in each end of your egg. Now, with the traditional ornaments, we're gonna want the pointy top to be up top and the bigger part to be on the bottom. So the hole down here at the bottom needs to be as small as possible so it's not visible, but it also needs to be big enough for all of the junk inside the egg to come out. So I'm gonna be using a toothpick to make the hole. Now, you can also use a drill, but I am not tool handy, so toothpicks are good for me. So I have punctured the outside of the shell and I'm kind of drilling my toothpick in. And now I have one tiny hole in the bottom. Now this hole is not going to be big enough for me to get all of the yolk out from the inside. So I'm just going to make the hole a little bit bigger. And it cracked a tiny bit, but it's okay because that's the bottom and I'll be able to use glue on it if I need to. Or, you know, what would be cute is like gluing some feathers on the bottom. We'll try that. So now I'm going to puncture the top as well. It's scary. I'm afraid this whole egg is going to crack in my hand. And I'm only scared of that because it did happen. So practice on eggs that you don't care about as much before you go full on into like the most gorgeous egg you have. So, oh, I broke my toothpick. Okay, let's try this again. If you do this with a drill, you just have to really carefully hold it, and then why can't I break through the top of this? And then there it goes. And when you use that drill, just use a really fine bit and go slowly to drill it. But my hands aren't steady enough, so having this is good. Okay, so now my top hole is a lot bigger than my bottom hole, and that's okay. So what I'm going to do is show you how to use this little guy. So for this right here, what we're doing is we are getting out all of the air, putting it inside the egg, and then we are just kind of blowing it out. So it's gonna just make a nasty mess. But you avoid having to possibly put the egg up to your mouth with this method. And this literally just blows out all of the inside. One thing that you can do to make this go a little bit faster is you can pre-scramble your eggs so that the yolk is not intact. And you can do that by just like vigorously shaking the egg before you make any holes into it. So this feels pretty empty to me. If I'm looking in there, I don't really see too much. There's a little bit of yolk at the top, but not too bad. So this one is empty. I'm gonna set it off to the side so that I can wash it out because that's gonna be our next step. So when we are using these as a craft and not feeding them back to the flock or things like that, we want to make sure they're clean so they're not going to mold from year to year. Because if I give this as a gift, I don't really want one of my kids' teachers to pull it out of their ornament basket and find it covered in mold next year. So I am going to be washing these, and then I also am going to be covering it with a really thin layer of Mod Podge so that it has a nice sheen. It captures the, you know, freckles that are sometimes on the egg. And it also just makes it a little bit more durable. If somebody breaks it, at least with Mod Podge, it should keep it so that it doesn't shatter into a million pieces. So that one's gonna go off to the side. And now I'm going to show you how to blow these out by hand, which is not my favorite, but if you don't have one of these, it's your only choice, right? So let's pop the egg. Oh, there's one hole. Maybe I should have enlisted a drill. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay. See, I got this. I'm going to mix up the insides of that egg with the toothpick while I got it in there. I might as well. So that it's easier for it to come out the bottom. I'm going to increase the size of the top hole just a tiny little bit. So now I have holes. And you can see it's already starting to drain out. So the alternate way is this. Oh. Maybe not my finest moment on television here, but it works. So this one is now empty. I can feel that it is. Nothing else is coming out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wash these eggs, and I am going to use this because I have it on hand, but you could use any kind of like a baster, a turkey baster or whatever. Or if your hole is big enough, you can kind of put it under the sink, let water run through. So we want to clean with water and then let them completely dry before we're sealing them shut. So I'm going to do that now, and then when we come back, I'm going to show you how to attach the top onto it. All right, eggs are dry. I haven't put the Mod Podge on yet because I'm going to do that after I get them into I get the tops attached to them, so that when I'm Mod Podging around it, if I accidentally create a crack, I'm filling it in. So what we have here are these ornament toppers. So these go on pretty much any holiday bulb that you have. They usually have this little metal piece that's in it, so they would look like this. So they've got the top part, the metal chunk, and then they have these expandable arms. If you try to take these little expandable arms and you push them together, and then you try to put it down into your egg, when they expand back out, it is going to break the top of your egg. So don't use these little arms inside the egg. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pull them up so that it looks like this. And I know that's hard to see, but I'll get a close-up view of it in a minute. So I've got that all the way up to the top so that I've got a nice big hanging top, and then I just have the bottom. And then I'm gonna situate that onto one of my eggs. And with these, they are pliable. So what I also wanna do is I wanna take these little side pieces and I'm gonna kind of fray them out just with my fingers, because this metal is so thin. If I flay out the edges, it'll sit nicely on the egg as opposed to just sitting on top. So if I flay out those edges and then put it back on, it fits more like a hat than it was before. There we go, just like that. So now it's right on the top. So I'm gonna be using some Gorilla Glue just because sometimes craft glue can get tacky and it can mold over time, but this kind of glue isn't going to. So I am going to be dropping the glue right down in this top part. That is going to then drip down inside and hold this in place where I want it to. If I need to, I can take my toothpick and kind of get it down in there to keep it on. But I don't want to add too much because I don't want it running out the sides. I just want this to stay in place. So if I do that, and I actually put a little bit more in there. As I say, don't put too much and then add too much. That wasn't too much, it's okay. So I'm gonna put it down inside. And then I'm gonna set this up to dry. And then when it's all set, I'm gonna put a layer of Mod Podge on the outside just to increase the shine. But then all you have to do is take like an ornament top and hang it on so it can be hung on the tree. You could use some tinsel to decorate up this top part, but I really like the simplicity and the beauty of just the eggs. If you had a very small tree full of different colored bantam eggs, that would be super cute. Or these are great gifts for like your kids' teachers. It's a good gift for a grandparent or anybody in your life who loves these eggs. You could even sell them. So these are wonderful ornaments and a kind of a nice way to celebrate your flock this holiday season without spending a ton of money. So if you have any questions, be sure to reach out to us at info@meyerhatchery.com. We're happy to help. Do you have any great ideas or things you'd like to see us do? Let us know. And be sure to like and subscribe so you get the first access to all these great videos that show you how to use things from your flock. Happy holidays from Meyer Hatchery.